The last thing I want to talk about is Gareth. Gareth Edwards, director from the sci-fi blockbuster The Creator. So, okay, I'm trying to think of how to approach this. On the one hand, it's really cool that he used the FX3 because we're at an age now where these smaller mirrorless cameras are able to compete from an image standpoint with larger, more expensive cameras. And so some people are asking the questions like, well, if I could spend $4,000 on a camera, why would I ever want to spend, $60,000 or $80,000 on a camera that, is image quality may not be significantly better. So let's take the new Arri Alexa 35. I think it's 4.6K. Is that right?
The Arri 35.
Yeah. So
I believe, 4.6.
So it has a little bit more resolution, and you guys know how I feel about resolution, so it's not really much of a difference there.
4.6.
Right. And you can record RAW out of the FX3, or you can shoot Arri RAW. So what is the difference between these two cameras? Well, difference, in my personal opinion, comes down to how easy is it to use that camera on set. And I think this is, I'm going to side with Edwards here on this first part, that choosing the right camera for what you're about to do is extremely important in terms of how it fits into your workflow. A good cinematographer, and he had a really good one. Let me see. His cinematographer was, I can't believe I didn't pull this up. He had two of them, actually, and one of them was an ASC cinematographer. But it really is, actually, it says it here in this article that it's all about lighting, and it really is. You can make a smartphone or an old VHS camcorder look really good if you know how to light. So I would actually argue that the reason that the camera looked as good as it did had more to do with the rest of his team, because also the visual effects were done by Industrial Light and Magic.
Oh, yeah.
So here's where I take problem with what he's saying. He's saying that he made an $80 million film that looked like it could have cost $150 to $200 million. But I would argue that that's not really that impressive, because let's take a look at some other movies. Shape of Water was done for $19.5 million. Everything Everywhere All at Once, Academy Award-winning movie, was shot for $14 million. I love that movie. It's one of my top favorite films. Shot for $14.5 million. So those movies looked amazing, especially Shape of Water, and especially on that low budget he was working on. I mean, I think it actually looked better than The Creator. And it had a lot of visual effects, obviously, with the creature effects. So that's why I'm just not really buying this thing that shooting with the FX3 saved that much money. I mean, yes, it's a small camera, but he could have shot with the FX6, and I think that would have been a better production camera. It's not that much bigger than the FX3, but it's got stuff on it that is more useful on a big production set, like SDI out, for example. It's even got Ethernet control, so if you have a DIT, they can obviously control the camera better than
dial in. And
exactly.
So and all that.
So yes, you can do this on an FX3. No, I don't think he saved that much money by going with the FX3. And you also got to think about something like if we go back to Everything Everywhere All at Once, $14.3 million. They shot on an Arri Mini, I believe. Again, not really saving as much money as they're claiming, because I don't know. I'm just not buying it. I honestly think that this whole thing was a little bit more of a gimmick than an actual reality of what it means. But with that said, again, we spoke about this before with mobile filmmaking. You can't say you can't do it now.
Yeah.
And that's been the case for a while, really.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the first time, and certainly Edwards isn't the first person to do this type of project. But I'm glad these films are being done the way they are, because they allow independent films and other filmmakers to, gain the courage to make content.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's really what all these tools are for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just getting it being a double-edged sword, which it is. It gives more people the professional tools needed to get professional-looking work out there to people that might otherwise not have seen it, or they never would have gotten it done because they didn't have this camera or that piece of equipment or whatever. But the fact that more people it's more accessible for people to get professional-looking tools nowadays to make content. It just gets more, like I said, good and bad, because with a whole bunch of good, there is also a whole bunch of bad that's out there.
Yeah, I used to have a film professor that used to say, go out there and make good film. Because that's really what it's about. It's like whether you're shooting your project on an old camcorder, because that's the look you're going for. Or you're using a mobile phone, or you're using whatever the latest high-end motion picture camera is. At the end of the day, is it a story worth telling, and are you shooting it in a way that's going to help bring your audience into your story?
Exactly.
Because that's really what it's all about.
Exactly. All for the story.
It's all for the story. So, anyway, with that, I think we're.
I'll do one more thing.
One more thing.
Yeah, one more thing. I just wanted to, I guess, not segue, but just let people know your log versus raw video.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so this is something that I've noticed that people seem to have misconceptions about, and so I decided that I wanted to do a video that really shows what the reality is about shooting log, and why you would want to shoot raw, or when, actually, not why, but when, because the truth of the matter is that it's all about the deliverable. And one of the things I'm going to do, and I have my expectations about what I think is going to happen, but I'm really excited to see what the outcome's going to be. I'm going to be releasing some video clips of raw and log footage. And I'm using the Sony Venice because the Sony Venice 1 has a neat little party trick. It allows you to record log files in 4K and raw files in the same 4K resolution. So it's a straight, connection. There's no post-processing or anything. It goes right to your XAVC 4K files, and it goes right to the OCN raw files at the same time. You're looking at exactly the same footage through the same lens, through the same camera. So we've taken the camera out of the equation. We've taken the shooting situation out of the equation. This is just literally log and raw. And
apples to apples.
Exactly. One thing that I think is going to be interesting is about that deliverable, because we were talking about YouTube earlier, and when you pull out all that extra color information going from a 16-bit file to an 8-bit file, which is the deliverable, are we really going to see the difference between the 10-bit log file and the 16-bit raw file? And that's something that we're going to find out. Like I said, I'm going to be releasing a series of clips for you guys to vote on, and see if you can tell which clip is which. And to make things more interesting, if I did it at 50-50, it's like, is this log, is this raw? And then the second clip, is this log, is this raw? You introduce kind of a 50-50 kind of a chance element. So I'm going to be giving you 4 answers here. The first one is going to be like, is it log? Second one's going to be, is it raw? Third one, are both log? And the fourth one, are both raw? And see how well you do. This one's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a better test to do it that way. But anyway, really curious to see how that turns out. And I'm really excited about this video, especially when I get to processing the footage. And I do have to thank Anthony for helping me film that as well.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, and Gretchen and Rachel High as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, with that, I think we are all through with our topics, and I think I'm through with my tea.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys on set.
Oh, yes. Peace.